Hey, this is Graham, and welcome back to the second episode of Season 2 of Roadtrip, our podcast, I guess is what you could call it. Video cast, maybe. I don't know, whatever. But today's topic is a lot of fun. Actually, both topics are a lot of fun. I'm trying to decide which one. I guess we'll go ahead and segue off of the last episode where we were talking about tow rigs, because as you can see, we're not in a Mustang today. We're in something quite a bit bigger. Hence the 2 rows of seats behind us. We are now in Annika's 2008. I don't remember.
2011.
Oh. 2011 Ford Expedition.
That sounded like a question too.
Yeah. For some reason my brain said Explorer. It's not
No,
Explorer.
Expedition.
It's an Expedition.
Yes.
And it is super luxurious and super sweet. And I don't want to talk too much about it on today's episode because I am doing a review of this that will come out on Friday. So go check that out. We're not gonna talk too much about this, but I will say this is super nice.
It got dark.
It did. Yeah, we went under a bridge. It's super nice, and I don't think we had talked about expeditions in the last episode because the last one was like a month ago when we shot it.
I feel like we might have.
We may have touched on expedition.
I think I'd mentioned that that's what I was looking at.
Maybe. I don't know if we'd gotten to that point yet.
Anything 2007 up has a 89 to 9,200 pound
Expedition,
yeah. 2007 and up Expedition has an 89 to 9,200 pound towing capacity, which is higher than some of the F-150s.
Yeah, it's actually significantly higher than some of like the lower trim level F-150s, which is super surprising. Because you'd think that like every truck would be meant to like work.
But they're not. So be careful if you're buying a truck to tow. One of my coworkers said she bought I guess she said it was a Dodge, I think, 1500 to tow her camper, which weighs 4,000 pounds. Brought it home and then realized it has a 2,100 pound towing capacity. So now she's...
A pickup truck.
A pickup truck, yeah. She bought a pickup truck figuring it'd be fine, and it's not. So if you're buying a truck to tow, just be careful. Make sure you do your research.
Yeah, we were really surprised when we were looking around and we realized that the Expedition has a 9,000 pound towing capacity.
This one has 9,200. This one I got, yeah.
Which is really surprising because, like she said, that is a heck of a lot higher than most base, like, low-level trucks. And it's a good bit cheaper than
trucks.
Lower-level trucks.
Doesn't hold its value as well, yeah.
Or you get more for your money when compared to a truck of the same price. You get a lot more for your money. I mean, this thing is loaded. Leather seats, heated cooled seats, navigation, upgraded stereo, all the goodies, sunroof. Like, it's fantastic. It's so much car, and she got it for less than she would have paid for a truck, which is just insane. So we're both really stoked about this. And like I said, I will review it, so I'll talk more about it later on. But yeah, I guess kind of to... it's a really bad segue, but obviously she bought this to tow her race cars, and just this past weekend, we just got back last night. We got back from Roebling Road, where she completed competition school and also her first 2 Spec Miata races, which was, I mean, it's been awesome to finally get to this point after the last year and a half of driving, or of her driving. It's fun to finally see her complete it. So I figured you could talk about your experience.
Just like what it is?
Like this weekend, and like, yeah, just say what you...
So I think in the last video I talked about how you get your license with NASA specifically, because that's who I have my license with. And I think I might have mentioned that you go to competition school. But what it is, you go a day early, and there's also racers doing test and tune the same day. And you go, and from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m., non-stop, 45 minutes on track, 45 minutes in class, alternating back and forth until 3. And when you're on track, they have the racers that are out there testing. They basically tell them to mess with you. So you've got, instructors and racers out there up your bumper, in my case, bump drafting me, just putting you in awkward situations in corners where maybe they're a little closer than they should be, just to see how you're going to react and make sure that you're comfortable in those situations. And they tell you at the beginning, basically, you're not supposed to be going fast. They don't care how fast you are. They just want you to show them that you're predictable, that you're safe, and that you don't get freaked out in close quarters with other people. But honestly, like the drills we did that day, they were so much fun. We were doing like side-by-side drills where you have to drive next to someone else, and basically, when you do them, they have you do them in HPD E3 too, but when you do them in HPD E3, like everyone's still kind of nervous, and so they're usually driving like on complete opposite sides of the track. When you do them in comp school, like you're actually right there next to each other. Like I probably could have reached out of my window and touched this dude's mirror. Like we were, right next to each other. Then we do whirly whirl drill where you start in side by side and you basically like go in circles around each other. And all during this, you've got instructors and racers weaving their way between you, and it's incredible. It's really fun.
It was a lot of fun to watch too. Like it was just so, like even just the competition school where they're just doing these drills was more exciting than like watching the regular track days, just because it's so close.
Yeah. And rolling starts are fun.
Yeah, and they did all the practice
so much
races
fun.
and stuff, and it was great to.
Yeah, you finish off. I mean, they're not really practice races. I wish they gave us more actual race, but you do a rolling start practice race where you do a rolling start race to turn at Roebling. It was turn 6. Then you line back up, do another rolling start, and you do that I think we did it 3 times, and then they let us do 3 laps in the final one. But it's hardly a race. 3 laps. In the standing start, we did 2 laps.
Yeah, and then so once they've basically the whole goal of the competition school is to spend as much time going back and forth as possible with as few
They're trying to tire you out.
Yeah, with as few breaks as they can possibly manage, and they're just trying to wear you down mentally and physically and make sure that you can still perform under those conditions by the end of the day.
Yeah.
And it was really cool to watch. But, she was gone the whole day. But
yeah.
it was still entertaining to watch, and I enjoyed it.
Make sure you have someone to play pit crew for you, because you need it. People to fill up your car and get you gas and check tire pressures and all that fun stuff, because you don't have time.
Yep. You need hands those days.
Yeah. But then after, you take a written test at the end of the day, after the 2 mock races, and then after the written test, you graduate with a provisional license, which is regional only, and you just have to go through 4 clean races of not hitting things, and then you get your national NASA license. So, yeah.
Needless to say, she didn't hit anything, and she got her license.
No, I got my first 2 on my provisional.
Well, yeah, but you got your...
I have my provisional license.
What I mean.
Yeah.
You're a race car driver officially.
Yes.
You got your license.
And as long as I don't hit things for 2 more races, it'll stay that way.
We'll talk about how the races were.
They were fun.
They were fun.
Yes.
There you have it. Racing is fun.
So Saturday, I qualified 12th out of 15th with 128. Right? It was 128.4, something like that. That was my time. But what?
In the rain?
No, qualifying.
Qualifying.
Yeah. The way qualifying works is, if any of you don't know, it's basically it is a time trial.
The goal
so
is
you just go out, you find your own space, and you try to get the fastest lap you can.
Yeah, and then your lap time determines where you start.
Yeah.
But because she's a rookie, she doesn't.
Because it was my first race, I didn't get to start 12th for the actual race. They put me in the back, and they do that with everyone for their very first race. So come race time, it's raining, and I don't have rain tires yet. So I went out on my slicks, and it wasn't just sprinkling. It had been
heavy rain.
It wasn't heavy rain, but it had been steadily raining for probably 2-3 hours by the time that we went out. And I was originally just going to do 2 laps, because so long as you do the start, complete a lap, and then go into pits, it counts as you starting the race. So I was just going to do that to get my punch. But the first 3 laps, I passed by a car that was off track every single lap. And so I just told myself that I would stay on track and then I'd not get last. And that's what I did. I stayed on track, had super slow lap times, but I finished 8th out of 16, which
is really
was
impressive.
pretty great.
And it was all because it was like the essence of slow and steady wins the race.
Yeah, right.
Because like you started in the back and worked your way up to like mid-pack, which is insane. In the rain, on slicks.
But I mean, most of the people I passed, it was because they went off track.
Yeah, it's because they were all spinning out because they were all pushing it too hard in the wet.
Yeah.
And they all had rain tires too, which is...
Not Matt.
All but
Matt didn't have rain tires.
All but one of them had.
But he admitted that when I was up behind him for about three laps, and he admitted, he was like, yeah, I think I checked in my mirrors and you were putting pressure on me and I pushed it a little too hard.
Yeah, and he spun out too.
Yep. But then Sunday, I qualified P12 again, but my time was slower, but that's okay. And then the race on Sunday, I was doing really well. I found I'm better at chasing. So I like getting behind someone who I, like for qualifying too, I like getting behind someone who I know is faster than me and just chasing them and trying to keep up with them. Obviously reasonably, like I'm not going and picking Keith, who's, Keith or Jan, who are P1 and P2 all the time.
They're basically like the two fastest drivers in the NASA.
Well, Keith, Jan, and Aiden.
Yeah.
Are always 1, 2, and 3.
They don't know who these people's names are.
But I'm just saying their names. I'm saying like I don't get up behind these people who I know are the top drivers because I know I can't go that fast. But I choose someone who's middle of the pack and see if I can keep up with them. But so during the race, I got behind the guy who had actually qualified right in front of me, and
you can stay this way.
I know, but that guy's going straight, so I'm getting right. Oh. Yeah, because I can go right on red, but he can't go straight on red. Anyway, I got behind the guy who had qualified right in front of me, and I stuck behind him for about half the race, right?
Yeah, it was a long time.
Yeah, and I did a 126.3, which is the fastest time I've done on Roebling yet.
Which is also a really impressive lap time. Like, that's quick.
And,
like, to give you guys perspective, the other guys, like Keith, they were setting like 124, which is...
Keith did a 123.
It's only 2 seconds faster, which, I mean, I know that's a lot, but that's also not a ton.
Yeah.
So. And they also have 0.2 liter. They both had 1.8.
I was the only one out there with a
1.6 liter. So.
Yeah. But lap 10, we started catching up to another guy, and I just kind of got excited and stopped thinking for a second and took turn 5 all wrong and went off track and then lost everything, which was unfortunate. But that's okay. It happens.
You still set some blistering lap times, though, which is impressive.
And now I know I can do that, so next time I'll qualify with a 126. Hopefully.
Yep. I believe. Like, I think you got like the perfect like your tires were perfect temperature and you were in the zone. You were rocking it. I could tell you were cooking it on that lap, on those few laps before. You set a 126 time on 3 different laps back to back to back.
I know.
But your fastest one was like a
126.3. Yeah.
So, you can do it. You're quick. But
it was unfortunate. And then after that, I just kind of like dialed it back, and I was doing 128s and 9s. I think I did a 7 too, but I dialed it back. I probably could have caught the guy who was in front of me if I hadn't been nervous after that.
That's all right.
It's fine, yeah. It happens.
Who was your second race ever?
I mean, everyone spins.
Yep. I mean, everybody did spin the day before, so.
Yeah. Also, fun fact about spec Miatas that I've now learned is we like unicorns, apparently. It's a thing. And because you know the stereotypes, the Miata stereotypes, and they're, I guess, the other racers joke about them, being girly because they drive the girly cars. And so they're always putting unicorns on other people's things. And like there's one of the cars, it's a team of drivers, and they went and put on the back of the car a little picture of 2 male stick figures holding hands. and like a unicorn on the top of it, and then they put a pillow on. Well, it's not any of the Racer. Sorry, it's the Unicorn Fairy. Put a pillow that said "Sparkle like a unicorn" on Keith's bed in his RV. And then Sunday, I go out to torque my lugs, and I've got a little unicorn-shaped valve stem cap. It's pretty great.
Yep.
Also, today is National Unicorn Day.
Which is really funny.
Yes.
Keep yawning, I'm sorry.
How dare you?
But needless to say, I would say it was a successful weekend. I think you probably would too.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of fun to like actually see her racing finally, rather than just driving in circles trying to get to that point. So I guess that's all we've got though, guys. This is a little shorter than it usually is, but that's probably better. You guys probably don't enjoy sitting through a half an hour to an hour long podcasts all the time. So we'll keep it to this nice shorter time. And we'll see you guys all next time. As always, like, subscribe, and take it easy.